All right. That's better. Okay. Because I keep making the reference, I should make sure to fill it in. So, as I always love doing, a reading. My voice. Okay. So, firstly, this is about Ukraine. So I keep referring to the Banderites, to Stepan Bandera, Nazi, this, that, and the other. So it probably comes across as a little like for anybody who's somewhat new to my channel. Um, it probably comes across just so all over the place it's impossible to follow. So, the Banderites, Ukrainian. Well, there we go. Banderit, Banderivitsi, Banderivit, Banderitsi. Oh, Banderitsi, and then Banderotsi, Banderocci. Huh. Okay. Are members of an assortment of right-wing extremist and anti-Semitic organizations in Ukraine. The term derives from the name of Stepan Bandera, 1909 through 1959, head of the Organization of Ukrainian Nationalists that formed in 1929 as an amalgamation of movements including the Union of Ukrainian Fascists, the union known as OUNB, had been engaged in various atrocities, including murder of civilians, predominantly Jews and Poles, under the Nazi German administration. The term Banderites was also used by the Bandera followers themselves and by others during the Holocaust and the massacres of Poles and Jews in Volhyna. Oh, wait. Okay. Volhynia. No. I'm putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable. Volhynia, there we go, Volhynia, and Eastern Galicia by OUN-UPA in 1943 through 1944. According to Timothy D. Snyder, nowadays the word is used often pejoratively to denote Ukrainian nationalists who sympathize with the fascist ideology and consider themselves followers of the OUN-UPA myth in modern Ukraine. History. The first murder operation carried out. This is kind of interesting that's straight there. The first murder operation carried out by the OUN with the active participation of the then 25-year-old Bandera was the assassination of Bronislaw Pieracki, Poland's Minister of Interior. In June 1934, Bandera provided the assassin with the 7.65 millimeter caliber pistol personally. His subsequent arrest and conviction turned Bandera into an instant legend around the militant Ukrainian nationalists of the Second Polish Republic. Bandera, who escaped from prison after the German invasion of Poland in September 1939, offered his services to Nazi Germany in exchange for an ongoing financial and logistical support. Several months before the German attack on the USSR, in February 1941, Bandera became the leader, providnik, of the faction of OUN known as OUNB, or the Banderites. In July 1941, however, Bandera himself was arrested and sent to a concentration camp in Germany, which he left only in 1944. Subsequently, the OUNB formed Ukrainian death squads, which carried out pogroms and massacres without any encouragement or help from the Germans. To ensure maximum impact of the systematic ethnic cleansing campaign in the contested territory, OUNB factions spread anti-Semitic, racist, and fascist propaganda with the ordinary peasants and other Ukrainians. Among the ordinary peasants and other Ukrainians, aided by Stitskul, Shukevich, and Lenkovsky, OUNB propaganda chief. Sorry I put so much emphasis on that. I'm like trying, it's like wrapping my face around these words. Bandera wrote a manifesto titled Ukrainian National Revolution that called for the annihilation of so-called ethnic enemies. The manifesto informed the locals how to act, included specific instructions about the killing of Jews, Poles, and Ukrainian opponents of fascism. Bandera coordinated the pogroms from behind. He did not participate in them. He remained in the area of occupied, wow, Kolmshishina, Chelmland, further Polish Chelmland, apparently, or Chimeland, I'm not sure, further northwest. The majority of pogroms carried out by the Banderites occurred in eastern Galicia and Volhynia, but also in Bukovina. The most deadly of them was perpetrated by the city of Lvov, by the People's Militia formed by OUN Link, with direct participation of civilians at the moment of the German arrival in the Soviet-occupied eastern Poland. There were two Lviv pogroms, carried out in 1 month span, took the lives of at least 4,000 Jews. It was followed by the killing of 2,500 to 3,000 Jews by the Einsatzgruppe C and the Petlura days massacre of more than 2,000 Polish Jews by Ukrainian militants. During the pogrom on June 30th, 1941, Bandera declared a sovereign Ukrainian state in Lvov, and a few days later was arrested by Germans who opposed it. Bandera was sent to detention in Germany. His supporters took over the command of UPA death squads 2 years later, in November 1943. So it gives you a history of this person who I kept seeing his picture, and I'm like, that's Stepan Bandera. As the whole Ukrainian Maidan thing was building up, these people would have pictures of him. And they had very specific colored type of regalia and uniforms and patches. And so then I was just looking up to see, let me just see what pops up if I put certain words into this rather potato search engine. And I came up with, for an example of the present day, from September 8th, I believe it says September, if I'm reading my Cyrillic correctly. It's very nice they wrote it in that version. From Ukrainian Crusade, blogspot.com. I am the spirit of eternal being who has saved you from Tatar invasion and brought in between two worlds to create a new life. I don't know what that quote's from. We are the Banderites. We are coming. The Ukrainian Nationalists Manifesto. We are going into the wide world from the depths of our glorious nation with God in our hearts and a sword by our side. We are going to a peasant's hut, to our brother, who with his callous hands plows the land saturated with the blood of his ancestors, the land whose fruits are being sold by invaders and occupiers at predatory crossroads of east and west. And we declare that the land should belong to whoever cultivates it, and that there are moments when the plow should be stuck not into the land but into the enemy's body in defense of one's right to be master of his own land. We'll go to the factories where the exploited Ukrainian worker strikes gold for his oppressors, getting the meager owned money as alms, and we'll teach him that only in the truly Ukrainian state he will be able to arrange his life on his own land. We'll go to the coal mines where the parasite, using the hands of the Ukrainian miner, I have not read this yet, extracts the treasures of the Ukrainian land which belongs to the Ukrainian nation, therefore to the miner himself as a son of that nation. At midnight we'll also drop by those who suck out blood of Ukrainians and remind them that nothing in the world costs as much as a tear shed by Mother Ukraine in her loneliness. There is no recompense that would soften our pain. The price must be paid in full. We'll also visit the little children in their school, where the enemy tries to fill their hearts with poison from Moscow and Washington. We'll teach them to love and devotion to their native land. We'll knock till we are heard on the noble Cossack heart, in the depth of which there is the understanding of sacred truths. Faith and honor are above life, and our goal is one. The Ukrainian national state and the road to it is a capital S struggle. We'll win the Ukrainian state or die in the battle for it. Glory to Ukraine, glory to the heroes. That is from ukrainiancrusade.blogspot.com, just so people understand the kind of fervor of the present day, helped by George Soros, the Maidan, and our State Department under Barack Hussein Obama. You know, revolution's always a good thing. I mean, look, the coal miners will now have their own land. The Special Operations Detachment, Azov, often known as Azov Battalion, Azov Regiment, Azov Detachment, is a Ukrainian National Guard regiment based in Mariupol in the Azov Sea coastal region. It was its first combat experience recapturing Mariupol from pro-Russian separatist forces in June 2014. That was quite a sight to be seen. At the time, you could watch it on YouTube. It saw its first combat experience recapturing Mariupol from initially formed as a volunteer militia on the 5th of May 2014 during the 2014 Ukrainian crisis. On 12th November 2014, Azov was incorporated in the National Guard of Ukraine. All regiment members were contract soldiers serving in the National Guard of Ukraine. Since its inception, the regiment lost 43 soldiers in the course of the war in Donbass. In 2014, it gained notoriety after allegations emerged of torture and war crimes, as well as neo-Nazi sympathies. That's odd. And usage of associated symbols by the regiment itself. Who could have seen that in the many photos? As seen in their logo feature. Oh, in their actual logo. Well, who could have noticed that? The wolf's angel, one of the original symbols used by the German Nazi Party. In 2014, around 10 to 20% of the unit were neo-Nazis. The U.S. Congress passed legislation in 2018 under the presidency of Donald J. Trump, blocking military aid to Azov on the grounds of its white supremacist ideology. It's almost like Donald Trump does not approve of white supremacists, even though he's on the phone with their president like, let me tell you secrets. According to Nancy Pelosi, now I'm so confused. Good thing I'm looking this stuff up on Wikipedia. Members of the regiment come from 22 countries. Oh my God. And our various backgrounds. The reason when it's just written right there and it's at the end of a sentence and you're like, you finish and you're like, wait, what? And you look at this and you're like, is this just admitted that this is this mysterious mercenary organization of possibly neo-Nazis formed from just various backgrounds in all sorts of countries, just fighting in some city, being funded by the black president. God damn. God damn. Okay. Since it's More than half of the regiment's members speak Russian and come from eastern Ukraine, including cities of Donetsk and Luhansk. The regiment's first commander was far-right nationalist Andriy Beletsky, who led the neo-Nazi Social National Assembly and Patriot of Ukraine. In its early days, Azov was the Ministry of Internal Affairs Special Police Company, led by Volodymyr Shpara, the leader of the Vasilkiv Kiev branch of Patriot of Ukraine, and right sector. There we go. Okay, got it. Now I'm getting the relationship between this. I had forgotten the relationship between right sector and these guys. Under Azov umbrella were also created the non-governmental organization Azov Civil Corps and the political party National Corps. As history, the Azov Battalion has its roots in a group of ultras of FC medalist Kharkiv named Sect 82. 1982 is the year of the founding of the group. Sect 82 was, at least until September 2013, allied with FC Spartak Moscow Ultras. Late February 2014, during 2014 Ukrainian crisis, when a separatist movement was active in Kharkiv, Sect 82 occupied the Kharkiv Oblast regional administration building in Kharkiv and served as a local self-defense force. Soon, on the basis of Sect 82, there was formed a volunteer militia called Eastern Corps. On the 13th of April 2014, Ministry of Internal Affairs Arsen Avakov issued a decree authorizing creating a new paramilitary force from civilians up to 12,000. The Azov Battalion, using Eastern Corps as its backbone, was formed on the 5th of May 2014 in Berdyansk by a white nationalist. Many members of Patriot Ukraine, there's a link, I don't know it, many members of Patriot Ukraine joined the battalion. Among the early patrons of the battalion were a member of the Verkhovna Rada Ole Lyashko and an ultra-nationalist Dmytro Korchinsky and businessman Sergei Taruta and Avakov. The battalion then received training near Kiev by instructors with experience in Georgian armed forces. The battalion started in Mariupol. Georgia. Interesting. Pardon me for this 1 second. The battalion started in Mariupol but was involved in combat and was briefly located in Berdyansk. On the 10th of June, the battalion dismissed Deputy Commander Yaroslav Honchar and distanced themselves from him after Honchar made criticizing statements about looting and debauchery in Azov Battalion. Igor Mosyichuk became deputy commander. In June 2014, Anton Herashenko, an advisor to the Minister of Internal Affairs, said that it was planned that the Azov Battalion would have a strength of 400 people and the salary of volunteers would be 4,300 hryvnia, $360 per month. Contract soldiers were paid 1,505 hryvnia per month. On 11th of August, Azov Battalion, backed by Ukrainian paratroopers, captured Marinka from pro-Russian rebels and entered the suburbs of Donetsk, clashing with Donetsk People's Republic. And so you actually were able to also find the Donetsk People's Republic footage of them fighting back against Azov in what looked like totally normal suburbs. It entered the suburbs. In early September 2014, the Azov Battalion was engaged in the Second Battle of Mariupol. Regarding the ceasefire agreed on the 5th of September, Beletsky stated that if it was a tactical move, there was nothing wrong with it. If it's an attempt to reach an agreement concerning Ukrainian soil with separatists, then obviously it's a betrayal. In September 2014, the Azov Battalion was expanded from a battalion to a regiment and enrolled into the National Guard of Ukraine. At about this time, it started receiving increased supplies of heavy arms. The Azov Battalion received funding from the Minister of Internal Affairs of Ukraine, other sources believed to be Ukrainian oligarchs. So, whilst its volunteers were officially paid 6,000 hryvnia, or $316 per month, they really received about 10,000 hryvnia, $526 per month. The National Socialist Patriot of Ukraine websites were shut down or put under restricted access. On the 14th of October, Azov Battalion servicemen took part in a march to commemorate the 72nd anniversary of the Ukrainian Insurgent Army in Kiev, organized by the Right Sector. I'm betting that was one of the various torchlight marches that became rather picturesque. But let's see, what's the current status? Let's see, the Ukrainian military decided to turn all volunteer battalions into regular militia units for internal policy reasons. The Ukrainian government has opted to deploy only volunteer units to the Donbass front. On July 2015, Azov Battalion was officially upgraded to regiment, and its structures took a definite shape. A mobilization center and a training facility was established in Kiev in former industrial complex Atek for selection and examination, and the personnel, composed by volunteers from all over Ukraine, has to pass through a screening and vetting process quite similar to Army's mobilization procedures. Recruits are then assigned to the combat units of the regiments or to support and supply units, where they undertake intensive combat drills training. Reconnaissance and EOD units are considered the elite of Azov and are manned by most experienced personnel, typically former Ukrainian Army Special Forces or similar. Since 2015, the battalion has been upgraded to regiment status, and Azov is now officially called Special Operations Regiment, with combat duties focused on reconnaissance, counter-reconnaissance, EOD disposal, interdiction, and special weapons operations. The regiment, the only territorial defense unit of its size in the NGU, and it's organized foreign membership. According to the Daily Telegraph, the Azov Battalion's extremist politics and professional English social media pages have attracted foreign fighters, including people from Brazil, Ireland, Italy, United Kingdom, France, America, Greece, Scandinavia, Spain, Poland, Slovakia, Czech Republic, and Russia. About 50 Russian nationals are members of the Azov Regiment. Around 20 Croatians joined the Azov Battalion in January 2015, ranging in age from 20 to 45, after Croatia's Foreign Minister Vesna Pusic confirmed that there are Croatian volunteers in Ukraine. The Russian Foreign Ministry called Croatia to withdraw its citizens from armed conflict. Pusic replied that Croatia opposes any involvement of Croatian citizens in the war and stated that they went on their private initiative and that Croatia is working on bringing them home. Interior Minister Ranko Ostojic said that the Croatian volunteers are fighting on the side of the legitimate Ukrainian government and are not committing any kind of crime according to Croatian law. According to French volunteers fighting for the insurgent side, the Azov Battalion has a French instructor named Gaston Besson, who tried to recruit them over the internet, and also a former soldier of the French Foreign Legion named Thibault Dupire, who fought in the regiment at the beginning of 2015. In late 2016, Brazilian investigators uncovered an alleged plot to recruit Brazilian far-right activists for the Azov Battalion. According to Minsk ceasefire agreements, foreign fighters are not allowed to serve in Ukraine's military. Since Azov Regiment was granted full military status, its foreign volunteers were compelled either to take Ukrainian citizenship, I forget who it was who put in the comments, or to leave the regiment, despite the... Wow. I don't even want to think about it. Despite the Minsk ceasefire agreements, the regiment still has foreign fighters, including an ex-British Army serviceman, Chris Garrett, a Brazilian nationalist named Frank Horrigan, and a 33-year-old former soldier in the Greek army, the French Foreign Legion known by the nom de guerre, the Greek. All right. Oh, well, okay. Most soldiers of Azov are followers of a Ukrainian nationalist type of Rodnoveri, Slavic name faith. Slavic native faith, where from they derive some of their symbolism, such as a variation of the swastika symbol Kolovrat. They have also established Rodnover shrines for their religious rites, including one in Mariupol dedicated to Perun. German SDF television showed images of Azov fighters wearing helmets with swastika symbols and SS runes of Hitler's infamous black uniformed elite corps. Due to the use of such symbols, Azov has been considered to have connections with neo-Nazism, with members wearing neo-Nazi and SS symbols and regalia expressing neo-Nazi views. In writing about the battalion's ideology, Richard Sakwa wrote that its founding member, Andrea Beletsky, leader of the neo-Nazi Social National Assembly, SNA, made statements about his historic mission to lead white races of the world in a final crusade for their survival, a crusade against the Semite-led Untermenschen. According to Sakwa, this ideology has its roots in national integralism of 1920s and 30s. Wow. Okay, Ivan Kachadnovsky, in an interview with Radio Sweden, described the ideology of the battalion in the following words. The SNAPU, Patriot of Ukraine, advocates a neo-Nazi ideology along with ultra-nationalism and racism. This same applies to the SNAPU commanders and members of the Azov Battalion and many football ultras and others who serve in this formation. Beletsky is called the White Leader. All right, so it has things like the Wolf Song, the Black Sun, and so there we go. Just so everybody's clear, so I make sure that I cover this. What is it about Ukraine that's supposed to be so freaky and whoa, why should you worry? And it's like, no, just this is what Hunter Biden, Nancy Pelosi, all of them, they all knew something. They knew something. If this is in Wikipedia, if just some guy looking at the internet knew about this, and you could see, I'm like, what? Oh my God, what? It's like, come on, they knew this. They knew all this shit. They're just playing around, and what it's looking like is we're dealing with people who are on the Republican side, and a lot of these people, wait a second, the U.S. House of Representatives in 2018 passed a provision blocking any training as Azov members by American forces, citing its neo-Nazi background. In previous years, between 2014 and 2017, the House of Representatives passed amendments banning support of Azov, but due to pressure from the Pentagon, the amendments were quietly lifted. This move has been protested by Simon Wiesenthal Center, which stated that the move highlights danger of Holocaust distortion in Ukraine. On the 26th of June 2015, the Canadian Defense Minister declared as well that training by Canadian forces or support would not be provided to Azov. Very interesting. All right, I gotta read some more about this, and it's almost time for the kill stream. So talk to you guys later.